Kate, this way, please, Kate.
I'm trying to help. Kate, just trying to put my glasses on. This film festival has always had a soft spot in my heart because they actually accepted my short film that I wrote and directed 2 years ago that I just did for like $600 with my two girlfriends. So it was like this was actually my first time ever seeing something I had written and directed on a large screen before. So it's always nice to be recognized, and I just have such a soft spot for this film festival in particular, and to be recognized for a project that I care so much about is a plus.
Can you talk to Edward? Can you talk to Ed?
Oh, it's quite an honor. It's such a wonderful thing, unexpected. Really, it's really nice. I'm really happy to be here.
You've made some incredible transformations in your career. How did you go about finding Rayon?
Rayon was just a long journey, discovery, trying to find this beautiful soul and bring her to life and share her with the world. It was an absolute joy to represent her and the Rayons of the world in this really beautiful film.
I understand that you made this film in 25 days with no lighting kit.
Yeah.
In that kind of an atmosphere, did that help you find Rayon in the shadows?
I think it was great. It was a fast and furious shoot. It really lent itself to this kind of intense project. And so I appreciated the speed at which we did things. And, it was a wonderful, wonderful but challenging time.
Now, you met Matthew for the first time on the day of shooting. When you started shooting, is what I understand.
I met him on the last day of shooting, probably, or at the Toronto Film Festival. Yeah, I was kind of just self-contained, and Matthew and I were both there to work, and not to hang out and shoot the shit, as they say. But we were there to deliver, and we did everything that we could in order to focus and stay committed to the part. Yeah. Thank you.
Rayon had some signs, some fan signs out on the carpet.
Well, Rayon has fans, as she should. She deserves it. If you work that hard to look that good, you deserve to have some fans. Oh, well. I don't know what that means, but I'll take that as a compliment. There's always one drunkard out there somewhere having a fun. Yes. What's your point? What are you heckling about? Well, what do you mean by that? What problem do you have with, because I'm a man, I don't deserve to play that part, so you would hold a role against someone who happened to be gay or lesbian, they can't play a straight part? Well, then you make sure that people that are gay, people that aren't straight, people like the Rayons of the world would never have the opportunity to turn the tables and explore parts that aren't central to who they are. But if you'd like to, after this, have a conversation, I'd love to talk to both of you. So the door's open. There you go.
Michael B. Jordan. There we go. Appreciate you, man. Yes, sir. Awesome. I feel like I graduated. Thank you, guys. I stole that from Bree. I did. I took it. I took it from you. I did. And then, wait a minute. Bria Larson.
I feel like I graduated.
Jared Leto.
Thank you. I do want to dedicate this tonight to the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know, a brave and fearless genius, someone who was a compass for all of us, and someone who will really be missed. So, to him.
Guess who? June Squibb.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of this. Thank you.
I love you. Can I get my photo with you? I love you, Adam. I love you, Oprah. Girl, you know you're number one gay girl.
Somebody else's because tomorrow night, let's just be serious about it. It's Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese. And the reason I accepted is because I love this community, and I try to say yes when Montecito asks me to do anything, or Santa Barbara. It feels a little strange because, as I said to my friend Kale, who called me from New York today, and she said, I hear you're getting some award, and I said, yes, and she said, what for? And I said, for my body of work, and she said, on the Oprah show, and I go, no, for film, and she didn't LOL, she started howling over the phone, because it's, you know, I did over nearly 5,000 Oprah shows, and I did, 3, 4, 5 films, so, you know, to be in the company of, it's hard for me to even speak the name of the people who are going to come the rest of the week, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese and Robert Redford. And this time last year it was, you know, the Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, I don't think I belong here, but I'm really happy that somebody invited me.
You absolutely belong
I think
here.
I belong here because I'm a great citizen of the town, but I mean, really.
And you're a fabulous actress.
Well, thank you for that. I accept it, but you know, when you're talking about body of work, I just feel a little strange about that, I have to say.
Well, talking about Lee Daniels, the butler, you're personal friends with President Barack Obama, Mr. Sidney Poitier, and the late, great Nelson Mandela. How did it feel to you to have Gloria speak about these people within the film?
Well, I had my hardest time in that film was sitting at the table with my son, David Oyelowo, who's now become actually like my son. I love him. And he and I both, everybody in that film loves Sidney Poitier. But I don't just love Sidney Poitier, I love Sidney Poitier. I mean, I have Sunday conversations with Sidney Poitier. I could write a book called Sundays with Sidney. I spent so much time talking to him. So that was a little uncomfortable for me. And so when I slapped him, it came from a real place. Like, don't you talk about Sidney Poitier, not at my table. For me, life is about energy. It's whether I'm doing the work that I'm doing on television, whether I'm doing the work that I'm doing in the film. It's about what do you want to say with your life, and how do you use that in such a way that lifts other people up? How can I be of service, not just to myself, but to the world? And that is the way I lead my life, through intention and service. A wonderful quote that I love by Martin Luther King says, he says, "Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service." So I use my art in the service of what I believe is our greater humanity. How can I use that to serve? So whenever I find something that can help me do that, that's what I will do. I don't have the skills. I did not have the skills to bring the tears. So we were in the juke joint. I remember seeing some salt. I remember taking salt in my hand and trying to put a salt in my eye.
Doesn't pepper work better?
It does. There was no pepper. But I was thinking, so I didn't know how to do that. That night I was in my motel room. We all were in this motel in North Carolina, Monroe, North Carolina. The late Adolph Caesar, and I was crying against the wall. Just crying, sobbing, because I couldn't cry when Stephen had asked me to cry. And Adolph Caesar came over came over and knocked on the door and said, "What's all this goddamn noise?" And I said, "Steven Spielberg asked me to cry, and I know he's gonna throw me out of the movie now, because the first day I walked in, first scene is mine in the juke joint. Mm-hmm. I walk in, I don't know anything about a movie, and I have the guy who's playing my boyfriend, who's a boxer. He's never been in a movie. And he literally said to me, John, before we went on, he said, "Who is this Spielberg dude?" I said, "He's the director." He goes, "Everybody's falling all down over this Spielberg dude. Who's this Spielberg dude?" And I said, he's the director. I said, "Jaws and E.T." He goes, "Who you playing E.T.?" True story. So that's who I'm doing my first scene with. First day, first scene, my friends. I walk into the juke joint because I've been in TV since I was 19. I walk in and I'm looking directly in the camera. And I say, "How you doing, Miss Seeley?" And then I hear Alan Davio say, "Cut, cut." And then Stephen comes out, he goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I was just saying my lines." He goes, "Why are you looking in the camera?" And I said, "Where am I supposed to look?" I thought that's where you're supposed to look, because all my life, that's what you've been doing. He goes, "You were talking to Miss Seeley, so looking at Miss Seeley." So, I mean, basic. So I thought that's the first mistake I made the first day. And then when he'd asked me to cry, I thought, okay, now they're going to find somebody else. So thank you. This award will keep me stepping in the right direction, whether that's film, acting in film, producing film, maybe even directing, who knows? This is encouragement, and I cannot tell you what it means to be honored by your own community. I think that, really, you can go all over the world and you can have accolades and acclaim from people all over the world, but to be able to be in your own community and know that I will be able to see you at Vaughn's and to know that the people who share the same ideas and values and community space value what I do. I cannot tell you how much that means to me, and I thank you from the depths of my heart for this award. Thank you. Thank you.
Santa Barbara! Montecito, babies! It's easy!
This way! Look! Martin down here, please! Martin down here!
Martin!
Martin down here, please!
Martin! Thank you, Martin.
Yeah, we always get a great welcome. It's amazing. And Leo's just arriving, I think, and Jonah. So this is really terrific. We're here 2 years ago, I think.
Yes, exactly. Now, the Cinema Vanguard Award is given to risk takers. How do you feel about being a risk taker this far into your career?
How much of a choice, I guess. How much more have I got? the last film we made, Wolf of Wall Street, take as big a risk as ever. You know, and that really felt good. It felt freeing in a way. So that was nice.
What is the most important aspect of your collaboration with Leo in so many films?
Well, we like the same subject matter and character, like to take risks, and kind of enjoy being with each other, you know, working together.
Great.
I'm so honored, you know, even to, you know, have met these guys, let alone to work for my hero, Martin Scorsese, and Leo, one of the best actors in the world. And, you know, I'm incredibly nervous and honored to even present them with an award.
It's pretty amazing, especially having it be alongside the great Martin Scorsese. The fact that I've gotten to do 5 films with him now is pretty mind-boggling. You know, I was a young actor, only dreaming of being able to do 1 film with him. I remember being 15 years old and wishing I could just be up there once with him, and now it's been 5, so it's especially meaningful to get this here tonight, but to have it be alongside him is even more so.
Marty, make you do some of those 5-minute speeches 30 times? I mean, how do you do a scene like that more than 2 or 3 times?
That was
the speeches to your employees.
That was a very interesting. I've been thinking about these speeches for really like 6 years, because to me they were like, you know, Braveheart speeches, but they're war cries for greed and debauchery, and you know, persuading his coworkers to go screw as many people over as possible. So there were these twisted, you know, war cries, and I'd been thinking very meticulously about how to do them. I'd planned out each line. We had a rewriting process. We kind of limited it down, and I honed it in. But it was something about being on that stage, and even though I knew that every single person there was sort of paid to applaud and cheer me, you felt like you were, you know, Bono. You felt like you were a bona fide rock star that was there to, and it just, that was a very compelling, interesting moment, and I felt closer to what he must have felt like, somebody that had, you know, crossed that line of you know, being honest with himself as far as what he was doing about breaking the law, and slowly crossing line more and more, and then persuading a gigantic group of people, and in a sense creating a cult for himself, and having to uphold that cult with this sort of surge of energy of lies, and I felt very close to Jordan at that moment, and how he must have gotten lost completely with the audience there.
There was a lot of concern from the studio and the studio system, so to speak, for each word, the sexuality of it, the lack of the violence, all of this, the racism, all this sort of thing. And I just didn't know if I could do it again, if I would have the energy to just go through it again. So ultimately, you pulled it together over these past few years, where you were able to get Joey McFarlane and RZA and Red Granite to be able to finance the picture with total freedom, meaning, yes, we'll go overboard in the sense of the excess of what they're doing with the language and the sex and all that, and ultimately to have the trust to be able to shape it, you know. But we had to have that freedom in a way, but it couldn't be done with the studio. It was too much for me.
I mean, you mentioned energy. I mean, I got to say, most directors who've been making films for 40 years, 45 years, something like that, maybe their films get a little slower, get a little more stately as they get older. This has more damn energy, or at least as much, probably more energy than any film you've ever made, which is saying a hell of a lot.
It does, yeah.
I mean, you must have the same energy that you have to make a film like this. How do you get
that was one of the reasons I didn't want to do it, because I know when I get on the set, it's him and Jonah and every Margot and everything, they're looking at me in the morning, and I'm terrible in the morning, and I can't, it's hard to get through the day, but they would give me this extraordinary excitement, and we'd just go, and we had an 87-day schedule, and we shot in 87 days, but know that I knew I had to, I knew I had to be there, but not only that, it's after he finished, I had to live with it with Thelma and myself for another 10 months, 11 months. Right. And then, you have to, and that's when you really kick in the editing room. That's when I kept telling Thelma, ferocious, goddammit, ferocious. Let's kick its ass, let's go. Throw it in, bang, cut right in the middle of it. Well, it doesn't match, it doesn't matter. They don't care. I mean, the characters don't care. What are they gonna, continuity in their brains at that point with that many drugs? Why should we deal with that?
And watching these two men, these two artists, geniuses, collaborate so beautifully, without exaggeration, was the most inspiring thing I ever got to witness. So I want to thank you guys for letting me watch that. And it made me think, have you ever been single? When you're single, you don't have a partner, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife, and you go out with two friends of yours and they're this amazing couple. And you leave the dinner and you go, man, I hope I end up in something like that one day, and I thought about that concept, and as an actor, I hope to be lucky enough to find that partner in someone else like you two have found with each other. No, I don't mean it, but I mean that genuinely. So, thank you. This is very surreal. I want to thank you, my two heroes, for being as amazing of men as you are artists. So congratulations, and I love you guys. Thanks.
Leonardo DiCaprio was the subject of a practical joke recently at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, but not everyone was laughing. Everything was going well as Leo began greeting fans, but then a man rushed up and hugged Leo around his waist. DiCaprio seemed to keep calm and even had a smile on his face while it all went down, but people around were not pleased. They had to pry the man off Leo, and he was quickly taken away from the red carpet. Luckily, the actor looked fine as he kept making his way to fans. The man in question is actually an infamous prankster, Ukrainian reporter Vitaly Sediuk, and you might remember him as the guy who tried to kiss Will Smith during an interview and got slapped by the actor in the face. He's also known for sneaking into the Grammys and trying to crash Adele's acceptance speech. So can we just ask, why are they still letting this guy do any kind of reporting? Luckily, Leo kept his cool through this latest prank.
I used to play in a tennis tournament in Ojai. Yeah, for 3 years in a row, and I spent a lot of time in Ojai and Santa Barbara. I have friends here, surfed here. So I'm very familiar with Santa Barbara. It's a great city. So it's special for me because I'm a native Californian, so it's like coming home. That's the thing that keeps you going. There's always more. Always more to do, and also as things change, as times change, you float with change, and that creates even more new opportunities, and you just keep taking them as they come. But don't stop. Thank you. As I said earlier, I'm always flattered by something like this, but I am also shy. I don't know why, but I am. It flatters me and it humbles me at the same time. For me, it's always been about the work, and what comes after is maybe somebody else's business. But tonight, just let me tell you why I'm here and why it's special for me to be here. It's a little bit like coming home in the sense that, yes, Sundance is in Utah and so forth, but I'm a California kid. I grew up not far from here. I spent a lot of my time in Santa Barbara surfing and spending time in these mountains. So it's a little bit of like coming home. And the second thing is that something he just mentioned, which is the idea of the word community. I think community is a very, very important word. And when I came here tonight and I received this incredible welcome that I was not anticipating, it really buoyed me. And I thought, what a wonderful vibe this is. It's genuine, it's full of love, and it's heartwarming. but it's also coming from a community. And you guys here in Santa Barbara have a community, and this festival is honoring your community. So I'm just really happy to be a part of it, and I can't thank you enough for the honor. I take this very, very seriously with humility and I hope some grace. And there's Leonard Maltin, who can't even get out of his chair. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you.
At this point in your iconic career, what makes you gravitate towards a certain character? Did you fall in love with Woody when you read him on the page?
You don't fall in love with characters. You realize the challenge is to become who they are and what they stand for. And that was the challenge with Woody. One thing about that part of America I've always felt is all of the men and women in that area and that whole heartland part of America, that's not just Nebraska, that's like 9 or 10 states. There's one thing they all have: they're fair. And that was something I wanted to make sure that we got said in the movie. There's a sense of fairness everywhere. And how they deal with each other, especially inside the family, is a whole different story. But they're always kind of fair to each other.